let's take a look inside the SS United States, soon to be the world's largest artificial reef ever. Let me tell you first about realtor Cindy Zimmermann. Cindy Zimmermann is a local realtor who's been here for the last quarter century, helping people buy and sell homes in our area. She's at Cindy Z Sells Homes, and she was voted the best realtor in the area the last several years running. If you're looking to buy or sell a house here in Okaloosa County or around the Emerald Coast, Cindy Z's your gal. CindyZSellsHomes.com. All right, back to the video. So the SS United States had it all back in the day.
Luxury forever.
But it's long since fallen from its high perch, and that's because of the advent of the jet age. That's why Okaloosa County's government bought it and is preparing it for use as the world's largest artificial reef. We're going to show you what it looks like now, where it will soon go in the Gulf, and talk to the woman who fought so hard to save it from the scrap pile. And look, if you don't care about the history of this ship, that's totally fine. You can just scroll down. We have it in the notes there where the video of the ship starts, and you can check it out there. But if you do want a background on the ship and how it came to be in Okaloosa County's possession, its many majestic voyages, and other pieces of history, stay tuned with us right now. And hey, if you decide to skip forward, or if you decide to stay here with us and check out the history of the SS United States, don't forget to throw us a like or a subscription or whatever platform thing makes it so that we can be followed. It helps us get to other people so that we can show them cool things like the SS United States. This is the SS United States. Well, this is the SS United States now, but it used to be much more attractive. The ship, not a boat, was engineered, designed, and constructed by this man, William Francis Gibbs.
She had to leave her.
That woman is Susan Gibbs. She is the president of the Conservancy Trust that worked for most of the last 2 decades to try and save the ship from the breaker's yard. She gave us the tour of the SS United States.
And I also think that the ship, this is more about the ship than my grandfather, but this ship was kind of broke barriers and was the best of her day. She was just this extraordinarily unique and powerful vessel. So what can she tell us now about the problems that face us today?
Gibbs the Elder was a Harvard dropout with a law degree who saw a ship launch when he was a kid and decided somehow, some way, this would be his life's work. He made that dream come true when he started a shipbuilding company, Gibbs Brothers, with his brother Frederick, and then began converting a captured German transport vessel from World War I into a luxury liner. His work paid off handsomely when the Navy, who saw his potential in ship design, decided to give him more work. During the Second World War, Gibbs Company, now Gibbs and Cox, designed the majority of the United States naval vessels during the war. But even though he got to build all these ships that blew stuff up, that wasn't his passion. His passion was interatlantic transport, transatlantic transport, transatlantic transport. He wanted to build ships like the SS United States.
It's newsreel film.
The United States launched into the world of luxury transcontinental sailing in 1952 after a 2.5-year-long construction period. She was built to be the fastest transit ship on Earth and could journey from New York to Europe in 3.5 days at just 2/3 of her power. She'd carry 1,000 crew and 2,000 passengers in luxury and obliterate the record for the fastest Atlantic crossing by a ship on her maiden voyage. In fact, the U.S. Navy heavily subsidized the cost of the ship with the agreement that it could be put into wartime service as a troop transport. Should we, say, have a crisis?
The United States arrived at the decision for an arms blockade
with the Cubans involving missiles, or maybe a couple of adventures in Southeast Asia that could expand into Northeast Asia. The ship was rated to take 14,000 soldiers from one side of the Atlantic to another, should she need to, with a 38-knot top speed. Actually, she was faster going backward than the Titanic was going forward. Key to that speed was her construction. She was built of the hot new metal on the block, aluminum. The strong, light metal also meant that the ship used a lot less wood.
Boat that catches on fire.
An obsession for Gibbs. In the 1950s and 60s, the SS United States was the epitome of travel. The ship, especially in first class, had the best of everything, from fine dining, fancy stuff like frog legs and kangaroo tail soup, fancy bands, and singers serenading you at dinner time. But the best parties, according to our tour guide, were actually in the tourist class, and people would try and sneak out of first class just to have a crazy night out.
Sorry, we're going streaking! through the quad and into the gymnasium.
The ship sailed for just 17 years, but had some of the most famous people of the 50s and 60s on board during that time. People like artist Salvador Dali and his pet ocelot, John Wayne, John F. Kennedy, Jackie O, as well as Bob Hope, Princess Grace of Monaco, Duke Ellington, and more, who would take the quick trip across the Atlantic on the finest ship known to man. But the ship's time quickly passed as transatlantic flights took over as the primary method of travel between America and Europe. And the owner of the ship, the United States Lines, began to falter financially. People decided if they were going to cross the ocean, they'd do it on a plane. In 1969, while undergoing her annual overhaul, the ship's doors were locked and she was unceremoniously dumped and hermetically sealed by the United States Navy, which technically still had rights to her as a troop transport. The Navy put the ship up for sale again in 1978, and it passed through the hands of a series of owners, both corporations and individuals, who wanted to eventually restore her, but it just wasn't going to happen. Eventually, Norwegian Cruise Lines, that's hard to say, sold her to the SS United States Conservancy, who's had it until just this past year. After more than a decade of unsuccessfully trying to get investors for a floating commerce zone, kind of like the Queen Mary in Los Angeles, the Conservancy was running out of time and money to save the ship. Their rent on the dock housing the ship was running out, and the ship continued to fall deeper and deeper into disrepair. And that is when Okaloosa County stepped in to buy the ship. And with the agreement, they would turn it into an artificial reef and create a museum to honor the SS United States and all of its history. All in, it was going to cost the county about $10 million. County leaders say that the money that's going to be brought in by tourism revenue, especially by scuba divers who typically trend towards the wealthier end of the scale demographically, would bring in a ton of money to Okaloosa County to more than compensate for the $10 million spent on bringing this ship here. After multiple hiccups in port in Philadelphia, the ship was towed from the port of Philadelphia around the coast of Florida to Mobile, where $7 million of remediation work is now underway. So now that we've gotten through the background on the ship, let's take a look at her right now. This tour we went on, thanks to Okaloosa County, is probably the last time that most people are going to be able to see around and inside this ship before she goes into the Gulf and becomes a tourist spot.
Okay, so it's 6 a.m. on a Saturday, and that means it is time to go see the SS United States. We're going to head over to Mobile from Niceville right now. It's about a 2-hour trip, and we'll get to see this massive ship that will soon become the world's largest artificial reef.
After a relatively traffic-less drive on 98, 87, and I-10, I make it to Mobile. I stopped by the USS Drummond, Alabama, a story for another day, before I see the SS United States for the first time with my own eyes. There it is, in the most industrial part of Mobile, the SS United States. It looks rough on the outside. Paint is peeling and chipping. The sun has bleached the iconic smokestacks. We make a short drive from the staging area to the side of the SS United States.
Happy to answer any questions that you have.
And we follow William Gibbs' granddaughter and the president of the Conservancy, Susan, onto the ship.
This is the gangway onto the SS United States. You can see, oh, there's a drone up there. Somebody has a drone up there. We'll have to do that later. You can see how beautiful this boat was when it was built, just from the superstructure.
Once we're inside, you can just see how old everything is. On the side of some objects, like this old switchboard, are handwritten notes, some with Sharpie, that say something to the effect of, "Save for museum." They're everywhere. From giant propellers and anchors weighing thousands of pounds to some dorm frames around the ship, we move on up some really narrow spiral stairs up to the first-class cabin. Through the portholes on the east side, you can see some of the United States neighbors like the USS Medgar Evers and the hospital ship USS Comfort. We go through some other rooms on the ship, the orchestra pit.
The only wood aboard the SS United States was mahogany pianos and the butcher blocks in the kitchen.
These wheelie thingies that could seal off a part of the boat if they hit an iceberg so they wouldn't have to do another Titanic. They still work, by the way. And this massive room that Duke Ellington played in and Colin Farrell filmed a movie in. We're constantly picking up our feet to make sure we don't stub toes on the portholes between the inside and the outside of the ship. It's basically a construction site, which means there's plenty of caution tape, corroded floors that you can see through, and open windows, even this fun green line that separates you from falling 80 or so feet to your death. The top deck of the ship greets us with a roar of wind, tons of rust, and a pretty spectacular view of the Mobile skyline.
So we're on top of the SS United States right now, and I'm going to show you guys something. Let me turn this around. these guys, these big pipes, which names I will actually put right down here because I can't remember them right now, are actually going to be taken off the ship, and one of them is going to be used for the museum that the county plans to create to talk about the history of the SS United States. Not sure what they're going to do with the other one, but pretty cool.
Before heading back down off the ship, we head to one of the decks where we see what looks like 24 trash bags.
So before they can send the SS United States to the bottom, they got to pick up all of this paint right here. You can see it. This stuff is what they have to peel off and put into these white bags so that they can actually put it at the bottom of the Gulf without harming the environment. So that's what most of the money that is going from Okaloosa County to this project is for that remediation of all that stuff all over this ship. It has a bunch of it, so that's what they're getting rid of.
When all that remediation is done, the county will then be able to select one of several areas to put this ship in its final resting place. So after a 75-year run out of the water, the SS United States is quickly approaching its time as an artificial reef. Though where and when exactly that will be, we don't know just yet. And if we do find out, well, I guess we will find out, I'll put it in the description, and hopefully we'll have an updated video about the ship and its final resting place. Long story short, though, the Okaloosa County Tourism Development Department expects it to be somewhere 20 nautical miles south of the shoreline of Destin, Okaloosa Island, and, well, Fort Walton Beach doesn't have a beach, but you get the idea. The decision isn't exact yet because Bay and Escambia counties, and maybe Walton County as of this filming, are going to contribute some money to this project, and in exchange, they want to have a say as to where exactly this ship is going to go. That all remains to be seen.
All right, so did you like the video that we just edited and put up on whatever video platform you're watching? We hope you did. And if you did, please consider giving us a like or subscribe to our channel and tell your friends and family about us so that we can get local news to you and the other people here in our community. And always check out midbaynews.com for our newsletter, our phone app, and the other things that we offer to get the news directly to you for free every day. midbaynews.com.